다 드린데 뭐남기 의시 때님만 당부되네 고주세네 아니 나니기 손주를 저 아까담이 계시셔뭐 보도엔 제베 로종 칠럽리 뮤기 지자임래.
Today, on this first main day of the actual Munlam, we will have the teaching on the great Kadampa spiritual master Potowa's long soliloquy, continuing the teachings where we left them off from last year.
제라다 까담비에 이 로저 칠럽이全삼디 레이어스 페이지 넘버 4는 레이어스 페이지 넘버 4도 가두래 페이지 넘버 4 그래
So the spot we have come to is in the English translation. It is on the bottom of page 3 of the file of the PDF file you can download from the internet.
사람들만 지금 뇌상 정도. 去年七月写吧，新就写吧，我嘞，真的了，落马落囊，去不的，啊，年当我是电影，第是推嘛说啊，大家呢，结巴门头，第来水，第通水，真的了，落马落囊，去不的重写，听我什么上二级过说呢，你们顺序都讲讲。 미가 탐해봐 캐자매 대나 조처물 제 러지기야 대나 타다 변진님 부르지요 기부 럼딩 타숨도 숨어요.
So it reads, if you do not turn your mind away from this life, you may be able to explain everything found in Dharma texts or enter the gate of the Mahayana secret mantra and practice unified non-duality. But you will not be any different from an ordinary lay person.
되나? 그래. 대야, 천들을 로로하네 치망에 송도 동네기 집에 최체바디 기부 충무인데 대라 대규례계의 최를 집어서 민도 지대시나 계시질라 잠도 심게 라서베全제 휴네 치 계시텔라 규네 로벤 미세로와 로벤 차는 미 차옹냠네 상왔다.
So from the second paragraph on page 3, for this reason, Lord Atisha, summing up the essential meaning of all the scriptures, taught the 3 types of persons, the lesser, middling, and greater. Among those, the lesser type of person turns their mind away from this life and practices the Dharma from fear of the lower realms in the next life. But there is no way to bring people to develop within themselves even the qualities of a lesser person. This is because people make a dharma connection with such as refuge or bodhicitta with a spiritual friend, but later they will not call him their master out of respect. They think that if they call him their master, others will criticize them, so they keep it secret.
다디 가르쳐서나 조지 허지기 좋은 디범 가래기 아니면 대녀 탐지기 배 님부 뒤네 and give running tasun
And so what this says is that Atisha Dipamkara crystallized the meaning or coalesced the meaning of all the scriptures and taught it in the form of the three types of individual, the lesser, medium, and greater.
기부 충태라 다 기부를 니 타숨 세두산에 코랑 최냠래 챙겐텔라 아니 베 추제에서는 코랑 내세디 아니 토아지다 되는 증어지다 마지 수며.
When we say the greater, middling, and lesser individuals, then this means that the level of the Dharma that they're able to practice, their level is either high, middling, or low.
디나는 최냠래 챙겨 좀 마셔들이야 셋이 컨데지 코랑기 가수에다 자기로 가르창 오르잖아. 에네 치망 예송 그 동에기 인직네 최칭예지 된지 있는 거예요.
And so to be the lowest type of practitioner, what is the level that one must come to? What facilities or what features must one have? One must have a fear one must practice with a fear of falling into the lower realms in one's next life.
다디 최칭예기 최냠는 챙긴기 뜻이 마셔디 대샤디아르스. 이나 tinsa seshi mashu tele lenge shiramindos.
And so this is the lowest level of a Dharma practitioner. And yet these days there are very few people who even reach this lowest level.
telaya chima ngesong 동에 njigwala ngesong 동에 탱고래. ngesong 동에 마테나 sendi라 로로버시 용고 말해. ngesong 동에 템바섬지장 미쳐봐. 렌데레 이제 깨네. 다지 레 ndidabuji sabina ngesong도 계사래. 레 ndidabuji sabina ngesong도 계사 말해. 삼바르부 딘디지기 ngesheji 깨고.
In order to fear the sufferings of the lower realms in future lifetimes, you have to remember the sufferings of the lower realms. If you do not recall the sufferings of the lower realms, you will not be able to turn your mind away from this lifetime. But just remembering the sufferings of the lower realms itself is not enough. You also have to have a deep belief in karmic cause and effect. You must have the certainty of knowing, if I do this sort of karma, then I will be, this sort of action, then I will be born in the lower realms. If I do that sort of action, I will not.
이나야 tinsa 렌제 레 준제긴 조당 시에서는 장도 야나 렌제 사디 그지 이미지 갈라간서 하 거나야 렌제레 오늘전에 이체네 렌제라 빵랑 수시 챙긴 민도스 되네 인주산에 디고라 가수에 레 디과데 고라 빵랑 수시 맞제비체 디과 사강 개와라 능총 당장으로 비체 디디체 제아데 다 심제 초마사바 심제다 개방연 바래서.
But there are very few people who know how karma works, how karmic cause and effects work. There are very few people who understand karma and its results. Even if people were to believe in them, they do not practice them properly. They do not do what they should and give up what they ought to give up. They're unable to give up wrong actions, and because they accumulate many wrong actions, they do not practice virtuous actions. These type of individuals are said to be people who have not gathered the accumulations or who have lesser fortune.
지단 tinsangi 최박하시 담보 계획신인지리아 아직 잠주슈 안다는 신기 청주 선배 동바디수 슈 되네 치수 계획 신년 되라 지 가수에 디 종리 지 소소리아 지 세당 회라 소바 지 천디기 소소로 고하다 쿠구디즈 게시디 종리 야보 마토비 이미나 안다 딩이 아니 게시디다 예 로빈이 쓰금인도스 때 가르레스 제연주산에 계시 제연주산에 다 고주 로빈이 있을람나 아니 로빈이 교랑 로빈이 툭 주바래 제가 교랑 담념을 해지지 미신다기 차례격을 참여직을 삼네 당에 로빈 민스 아니 미신다 지금 엄마 교랑 디 라마델 로빈 템바임바 라마 템바임바스 계시 집이는 다도 우주시제 교랑 엄마 템바임바스 계시 집이나 가르스도선 오 녜엄마 교산 잠도 심제지마도 간슈메 데레드 로빈 민스 라고도스
So these days, some people, some practitioners will go to a spiritual master. They request the refuge in bodhisattva vows. That later, when they do not get the food or the clothing or the supplies or things they need for this life from that master, then they're unwilling to say that he is their master. And the reason for this is that if they say, this is my master, and yet they do not get what they wish for from that master, then they are afraid that others will criticize him for being their master. So they keep it secret, and they say, he's not my master. But then if someone presses them and says, well, this is a master you followed, isn't he your master? Then they will reply, I've only taken refuge in bodhicitta from him. He's not really my master.
예, 나디 슝 보도에 가는 순서나 현식이 대표에게 법을 믿음잖아. 녜텔라 잠도 심계지를 머슈세르. 잠도 심계 최탐지기 자와인데 마고인비 견신도체. 녜니全真 虚제了. 치그레 잠라 연대리니베 So
what Master Potowa says about this is, if someone asks them, isn't that your master? They reply, I only took refuge in bodhicitta with him. This is failing to understand that refuge and bodhicitta are the root of the entire Dharma, so it is an extremely grave fault. I have found qualities in every word spoken by those from whom I have received Dharma. The only thought that has occurred to me is that I could never buy it for money.
제상 아니 잠도 심계지마도 쉬메랍디사네 잠도도 심계데 지금 최민동도르지 기지 시에야데 야고 말았어.
And so this is an extremely frightful and extremely pitiable thing to say. The reason is because refuge and bodhicitta are like the root of all the Dharma. They're the foundation or the essence of all the Dharma. And not understanding this is a grave fault. So when we say, oh, I only took refuge and bodhisattva vows from them, then this is like saying that these aren't Dharma. And so this is extremely grave fault.
양 가시에기 라메 군준 쉬쉬도 가르쳐줬잖아. 네 교랑자는 최슈인스. 이나 네 교랑자는 최슈송 제제 밀라 자네 시 닝가 메스다. 밀라 자네 시 닝가 메. 네나 교랑 밀라 시기 미스 나지 게로지스. 다 군조 숨라고 해나 가르라고 해나 다 나지 게로지스. 야나지 페퍼가냐 슈구가 쓰인도 잡지. 네 교랑 예자는 최슈송스 네 러브 미스 say Yarochis. Tine Shining a church wins in the those. That is all. Tinsan Nimanga to Zulia, Lama the Lomen Devade, Niji Ureshas. Young Aguatireshas.
These days, also what some students do is they go to a master and they say to the master, I'd like to take Dharma teachings, but you must not tell anyone else. You have to promise, you have to take an oath that you're not going to tell anyone else. I don't know, do you have to take the oath to the 3 jewels, I'm not going to tell the Dharma? Tell them that I taught you the Dharma? Or does the master need, maybe they say, tell the master, you have to sign this paper promising that you won't tell anyone that I've taken Dharma teachings from them. And only then will I take Dharma teachings from you. So in these days, when we, during the time of the 5 degenerations, then this is a sign of really difficult connections between masters and disciples, and they are really worthy of compassion. It is really quite terrifying. Actually, if we are going to practice the Dharma as taught in the Dharma, if we are really truly going to practice it properly, what is it that is most important? In practicing the Dharma properly, there is nothing that is more important than the Guru. There is nothing that is more important than the spiritual master.
Namandos lembina, Chumandos suina. Namaji language on ya, Daniel deep Namatigi, Abasuredo, Amasuredo. O Tana Shingi, Didi Namatigi, Debelu Yucaredo, and Domba Carso Candedo, Samataji show.
For example, in these days, when someone is looking for a bride, the first thing they look for is to find out, oh, what is her father like? What are her parents like? What is her mother like? What is her past like? And so they first examine who she is. Or if we're buying a horse, before we buy the horse, we have to examine the horse well. We look at the mouth, we open it up to look at their teeth, to see if they have any illness. You look at the back, you look at the front. You examine the horse all over, and only then would you buy the horse.
Lamas tangewe sinese ada kandisre. Ti kewan dine sung changju madab ji phado. Susu ge ngwenda jap rigi tabo dos chadi yo, dinde chadi yo re. Dinde inju sane, dinde ji kewan serab thamje do be ngwenjap pungin che denge. Dinde ji yingo shem. Dinde ji lama ji ze go re.
But with a guru or a spiritual master, what is it like? It is not just for this life. From this life onward, through every lifetime until we achieve great enlightenment, the guru or the master is our protector, our refuge, the lord of our families. So when since we are looking for someone who will be our protector, guardian, and champion in this and all of our future lifetimes, we need to look carefully.
제상 라마 디 시도네 개심의 인자 디 균zel 되네 오늘 라마디 기부 담바지 레도면도 신이다 담바지 레도면도 리버 다신 제네 신네 겸네 슈거의 말에서.
So because the guru is so extremely important, we should first examine carefully to find out whether that a guru truly is a great being, whether they truly have all the qualifications, and then only then should we ask them to be our refuge.
근데 맞으면 당부 딱제 맞으면 라마 미게 통제 지 라마 레스에 나외 퇴세 탐제리아 라마 인스 잠네 슈 애니 치소 라메 로마 류니 아니 고고요 샤바 근데 막고 알았어 디 괜히 가르스타나 초진에 라메 괜 레디나 초진에 로말 라마텔 라말라베 로메 륜디에 체네 고마 접세제 근데가 토네 륜디에 체발을 때네 체비 괜히 말해서 근데 인주사 라마 상부 있는다 라마 냠바 있는다 간다 륜디에 체나 야부요 말해서 륜디에 치기요 말해서
But we don't do that. We first find a lama. We find a lama whom everyone can see, whom everyone hears about, who we hear about from everyone, and then we immediately ask them to be our refuge. And then these days, what happens is that many such lamas end up deceiving their students. This happens quite frequently. So whose fault is this? From one perspective, this is the guru's fault. But on the other hand, it is also the student who has had really unstable or deceptive faith in the guru. So whether or not the guru is a good guru or a bad guru, it is important that we have really really reliable and undeceiving faith in them.
Not blind faith.
We must not have blind faith in them.
다 구송토기 연대라 라마 친이들 때문에 구송토기 연대라 다신 제네 소소 이체바시 충나 되네 수익양 너도 매배 대받된 무엇이 게그랬어.
And so if we examine the qualities of the guru's body, speech, and mind well, then we can develop a faith that no one else will be able to block or stop.
텐데시 대바지 마게 봐도 당아 무규 공규에서 알아보다 나 라마 두구에서 알아보 다 되게 상황으로 주말에서.
Until we develop such faith, when we say that we are meditating on devotion or that we are meditating upon the Guru, that is all false.
라마 담바지, 라마 친이다 담바지는 누구 말해서, 누구 가래서, 다나 신공기 투지 심지에는 미시바 시그 말해서.
With a great being, it's difficult to achieve such a lama. It's very hard, no matter how much we try. And it's hard to find someone with such compassion.
What? Okay. 라메기 투지기 가주에다지 투제와 심 가서 투제에 다 가는라 대시 자시면 제시와 이거 다 라마 주바스도 컨제지스거라 라마 주바스야 거로와 다 라마 주바스도 라마 쳬바스야 라마 주바스야 이거 라마 쳬바스야 쳬베 된다디 푸지 스거와 녜베 되는 고어스 쳬바스야 푸지 세베 견다네 녜베 되고 다 라마 투게베 라마 친이다 덴바지 투게베기 다 쳬바도 가레스라는 돈바순이 냠레차 라바순이 냠레차 대임바레스.
So when we say that we want to accomplish the Guru, accomplishing the Guru, this means that we need to offer to the Guru. The word offering is the word puja, and the meaning of the word puja is to please. So how is it that we can please or offer to an authentic guru? It is through the practice. What pleases the authentic guru is the practice of the three vows, the practice of the three trainings. In terms of the secret mantra, then this is to imagine that the guru is the principal deity of the mandala and take the four empowerments.
Om Bejanguru, Om Ahons, Tiborutelia, Lamati Mindi, Chu. But a Lamati meal, Treshin, Om Bejanguru, Treshi Ahos, Passe. Then doing it, Nyamba de Carso, some damn Nimatawari, Om Bejanguru, Treshi Ahos, Sadidus. Tade Lama Dujaji, two you ta, think honest.
So these days, instead of accomplishing or practicing the guru, what we do is we make things up ourselves. We make up our own practices. And so we take a mantra and we go, Om Vajra Guru ... Om Ahom. And then in the middle we insert that guru's name. We say, Om Vajra Guru Tashi Om Ahom. And so then we go off to a retreat, we recite the mantra, we say Om Vajra Guru Tashi Ahom. And so forth. And this is a sign that this being really a bad guru.
Lama de love goyade, Dombasuni Yamne, Lavasuni Yamne, Parlumni, Simkin you took some Malabache. Ta Jiggy Sobot of the others, Lama de Shui, Sangi, and Taji Karsure. Karsu idami said arrows, the Kanga love Dojishan, the idam dajita, Ramadas love me. Energy, when it in a simkin, you dub in Yamne, Nachi, Malabche. Ramen the Kanga love Dana. Dati Lamadi Yabo, Karsu Lama Yabo, said her color.
This is because what the guru really should be teaching you is the practice of the three vows, the practice of the three trainings, the things that will actually tame your mind. But the Lama is not teaching that. Instead, it is an impostor or someone who says, you have to meditate upon the guru being a Buddha. You have to meditate upon the guru being the Yidam deity. You have to imagine that this is, imagine that the guru is Vajradhara, practice of the guru being the Yidam deity or so forth. They don't teach you a single method that would actually train your own mind. They teach various other things. And it's difficult to say that such a Lama is good.
Potowa Master. Potowa Negi Lama Tamba, Lama Tsende Mado Begi, Tsende Mayin Bala Cheshua Manyons Lama Tsende Tizu Gundula Che Najimado Shumebe Ina. De Shuze de Rungu Nyomong Ding to Samalo Bungu Yoba Madobe Che de Kan Sheba Ya Zamzilla Shames.
And so Potowa says, I, Potowa, have only taken Dharma teachings from authentic gurus. I have not taken teachings from gurus who are not authentic. And all of those teachers from whom I have received these teachings, even if I have only received 1 or 2 words of teaching from them, I've gathered that all and I have directed that all against the afflictions within my being. And so we cannot leave the Dharma to be just something that we practice with our mouths.
Understanding, some of it, some Koa, never Jibi Pingamaras. Kane Sheba Jibun Dumaras. 디 귤라 조르시에 거래 수수 심규라 주 가르쳐 루도 통게 이제 잡아 소통 잡아 수수 심규다 최딩이 봐도 잡아 소 귤라 조르사 그 고아데 컨디지라나 최는 송반은 신 라렌 따야데 귤라 조르 고아데 되레스.
So merely knowing the Dharma alone does not help. Just understanding the Dharma alone does not help. It doesn't help to just be able to say, this is this or that is that. Instead of merely being able to say things orally, we need to incorporate it into our beings. We need to mix it and we need to join it with our beings. We need to incorporate it inside ourselves. We need to make a connection between the Dharma and our own mind streams. And so when we say that we need to incorporate the Dharma into our beings, what this means is that we need to practice the Dharma as properly. And so we will leave it here this morning. And following this, we will recite the aspiration for the stages of the path. And after that, we will do a few moments of meditation.
아니 마땅베잖아 아니 우 마땅베잖 데라 셈데 우 나노무베잖 데라 셈데 마다야 미세기야 우 중금 제베 걸이야 지 미세고 우베 체동안의 우 당고가 우 아주 당당하라 제가 우 나라도 넘긴 당당하이 인도산에 더가랑게 토는마 가져야지 셈데
Now for meditation, please meditate on the breath. Just meditate upon following the breath as it goes in, as it goes out, and as you breathe in. There's no need to count the breath or anything like that. Just as you breathe out, then just rest your mind focusing on that. As you breathe in, rest your mind focusing on that. There's no need to make the breath bigger or emphasize the breath. You're always breathing just as naturally. And so just breathe naturally and then just let your mind relax and focus on that and rest in equipoise. The schedule says that we should meditate for 10 minutes, but today we will meditate for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's it. Sunny Dala Semdana Gasare. Jugum Stay Osmane. A Dala Semdan, Sunny Dala Semdan, and the Duni, the Dada Semdan, the Goma Gasare.
So tomorrow it's better to focus on sound. It's not so good to work with the breath. Better to focus on sound. So tomorrow we will meditate with you focusing on the sound of this.